On this episode of Ojiokwe, What is Trending, there's a lot that was revealed on this particular episode. How Tinubu visited, how children were succumbed, forced, indoctrinated, or rather, pressured to go under the rain to sing national anthem for Bola Ahmed Tinubu is unacceptable. And how Tinubu visited the hospital of some of the victims and all that. I would like us to take this episode very, very seriously by paying attention to every submissions on this episode of Arise TV. Let's take this, guys.
As reactions follow, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's visit to Benue State to commiserate with and assess the situation of victims from the deadly attack in the Awata community. Well, upon his arrival at the Tactical Air Command of the Nigerian Air Force Base in Makurdi, the president, accompanied by Governor Hyacinth Alia and other government officials, proceeded directly to the Benue State Teaching Hospital to meet with injured victims, including adults and children suffering from gunshot wounds, burns, and trauma. The president was received by mourners adorned in black. Let's take a look.
On Saturday, we had 54 cases. Out of 5
Absolutely commend the president for this visit. I mean, it was great to see the president out there meeting with children, burn victims, mothers, fathers, people that have suffered this deadly attack. I'll take a tweet from X. This person wrote, "Dear Mr. President, we deeply appreciate this initiative. Kindly replicate similar impactful actions across other states. In the Federation, it will go a long way to fostering national growth and unity. God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria." Adefemi Akinsoya. I mean, earlier in the day, we did discuss, I believe it was even yesterday, we did discuss the one memo that was sent out, yes. And we had, ahead of the president's visit, and we had warned against some sort of, fanfare, and it's good to see that it wasn't the case. Right. But we did see that, a lineup of people adorned in black. That point you made, Adefemi. And I would like to actually pull up the picture of the day, if we can pull that up. And this picture has gone viral. It's showing an elderly woman in visible distress as President Tinubu was in that hospital there. That picture spoke 1,000 words, Rufai. That picture really did speak of the anguish these people are facing in Benue State, young children. Those videos really disturbed me, Rufai, really quickly.
The picture was 1,000 words.
Yeah.
And, okay.
Yes, so that we can tie it all together.
Okay, read it next so we can tie it all together.
Meanwhile, hours before the president's scheduled visit to Benue, the Lafia-Makurdi Highway, a crucial link to the state capital, became impassable due to severe flooding. Heavy rainfall caused the road to be submerged, leaving commuters and members of the presidential advance team stranded. As you can see there, the disruption raised concerns about the logistics and security of the president's visit. In the same vein, videos showing primary school pupils standing in the rain to welcome President Tinubu's convoy have sparked widespread outrage. Despite a public holiday declared by the state government to honor the president's visit, primarily to sympathize with victims of the deadly attacks in the state, the children were seen singing the national anthem by the roadside as Tinubu's motorcade passed through Makurdi. Their faces were blurred in the videos for privacy. The videos went viral on social media, drawing strong condemnation from Nigerians. Critics, including Yemi Adamalekun, Executive Director of Enough is Enough Nigeria, called it a crime to subject children to such conditions. Let's take Yemi's tweet. There she wrote on X, "This is a crime. Is there no one in Benue that can go and get those children? A bishop, an imam, parents, National Human Rights Commission? What is wrong with us? Hashtag Benue Lives Matter." Obiezekwe followed with a tweet. She wrote, "The saddest part is that some of these children may be from among the hundreds of families mourning their beloved ones, and yet are compelled to stand in the rain and give misleaders that have shown zero care for them a rousing welcome. Things like this are why the uncaring political class of Nigeria has nothing to desensitize their bad behavior and the poor governance it produces. They believe the Nigerian citizens are conquered souls. Will it always be so? No, because there is that one factor that our politicians never add to their equation when they become carried away with drunk on public power." I mean, Obiezekwe there, it's just also buttresses the sort of conversation that we tried to have yesterday about reading the room. How, Nigerian politicians have to really find ways to observe these sort of critical situations. When you have mourning in a state, how dare you put children out there to welcome the president? Rufai.
You can't give what you don't have. You telling a Nigerian politician to read the room in a time of disaster that he couldn't avert is like telling a palm wine tapper that he doesn't know how to tap palm wine. The truth is, you cannot give what you don't have. These palm wine tappers or these politicians only care about themselves. And I'm using that palm wine tapper in the context of an analogy. These journeymen called politicians only care about themselves and their own image. When we said it yesterday, it was based on reports that we got. We're proven right. Even if they tried to still change the narrative last minute by putting mourners on the road. And Femi, you saw it now. It looked very choreographed. You know why? Because the same true mourners, when the same true mourners came out to protest those killings, what did they do? They tear gas them. Did we see it here the other day?
For what reason?
So they should have allowed the true protesters to come out and exercise their pain. But no, they put these ones on the side of the road, make them wear back, and decide they should be wailing, so that it was going to be a contravention of what they had initially planned. But they were not circumspect in their review. They still left the plan of the students there. They forgot that one. So they left the students in the rain, singing national anthem, and were waving flag.
And the motorcade didn't stop and acknowledge them.
But quickly, what they now did was last minute, they now quickly put some placards in the house of students that Benue is bleeding. So it was part of their choreographic plan.
Absolutely.
But
nonsense, like
they didn't even know how to backtrack. And this is part of the problem we talk about. So reading the room is not their forte. That's why I give the analogy of a palm wine tapper. It's not like you telling palm wine tapper. He's telling the Nigerian politicians that read the room. It's not like you telling a palm wine tapper he doesn't know how to tap palm wine. Because reading the room is not part of their forte. Emotional intelligence is not part of their forte. If emotional intelligence was part of their forte, do you think Nigerian politicians will be spending extravagantly in a country where people can't have 3 square meals? where people are suffering.
Wasn't it a public holiday? What were the students?
So
what were the
it was
children
part
doing?
of the arrangement.
a public
so that
holiday. They're
at the same
supposed not
time,
to be-
they have forgotten that
Yeah.
it was a money situation that brought the president. But at the same time, they also want to impress the president and give him a heroic welcome. So they were caught in a quandary. And that's why, you know, there's a dearth of emotional intelligence. Going further, these were the things we said yesterday. Don't turn it into a jamboree and everything. People said, oh, we were bashing them and everything. Has it not come out openly now? Do you know that the rights of those children were violated?
Yes.
Do you know that they should even press charges against whoever called those children out in the first place? And that picture speaks a million words. You know,
Picture of the day.
so let me interpret what that woman's face was saying. They've come again and our problem continues. That's the smirk on her face. Oji, is not, I feel particular about Benue. It's not today I've been working with Benue. And I'm happy that the advanced party was caught in that flood. In 2016, thereabouts, I think I even got a recognition by CESO Foundation about my work I did for flood victims with Benue, when we partnered with a Catholic church in 2004, where I was using my radio platform to advocate that people drop relief materials for flood victims in Benue. Benue had always had flooding. And that's why we are happy President Tinubu went out. So he's seeing it. He should also go to NAIJA. Because I would like President Tinubu to see the condition of the roads in Mokwa. He should also go to any part that is being inundated with crisis in the country. It will give him a clear view. You see, all the visits he goes that the governor calls him, 1 or 2 days, become a commission. That's good. But on the other side, unannounced visit like this will give you a true perspective on what is going on in the country. Because with that already choreographed visit, you would think everything is fine. The governor will show you the happy part and the other, but he also needs to see the parts that are not happy.
Right. Well, in the same vein, following his hospital visit, President Tinubu met with stakeholders at the new banquet hall of the Benue State Government House. During the meeting, President Tinubu stated that the value of human life is greater than that of a cow. He also publicly questioned the Inspector General of Police, Kayode Egbetokun, about the lack of arrests in connection with the incident. Let's take a look.
The value of life, human life, is greater than that of a cow. And it's only when you open the door for conflict that political enemy will come in. I give you the assurance that we will find peace. We will convert this tragedy to prosperity. Police, I hope you're very on alert to listen to information. How come no arrest has been made? I expect there should be arrests of those criminals. The value of life, human life, is greater than that of a cow.
All right, I follow those in the room to applaud the president for asking the pertinent question. Yeah. Why has an arrest not been made? That's the question I asked when this thing happened. Who are these people? Who are the perpetrators? No one's been paraded at this point. We're hearing our brothers and sisters dying every day. Not one arrest, because if there was, the president would know. Vimbai.
And no clues either, no indication of anything. And, you know, often they'll say that, oh, these are security issues, so they can't publicize it. But like you said, if the president is now asking what's going on, it now begs the question, what is really going on the ground? He made several interventions during his speech, some may regard as controversial, some received a lot of applause. So one of those interventions, the president spoke about the need for a radio station to preach tolerance, because in his own estimation and based off of the reports he has, he said he feels this is a political problem. He actually used the quote that politics is local, and he was speaking to the governor and saying these are political issues you need to resolve. And there's questions around that, because if you speak to people in Benue, and I know later you'll highlight some of the other speeches that were given on the day that indicates that there are different views about what's going on the ground. So that's why, when we ask for the president or any leader to go to the ground, it's not because we're being noisemakers or we're being busybodies. It's because sometimes the reports that you get, and when you go and experience it for yourself on the ground, the realities may be different. I hope off cameras there was deeper engagement, because what we saw at the Stakeholders Forum was more, of speeches being given, but we expected to see more of like a town hall, an interaction.
Yes.
So I hope off camera they were able to do that and give their own, especially the royal father of Tiv, the tour of Tiv.
Yeah.
He had deep information around what's going on, and I continue to say this is not new. Remember the controversy during President Obasanjo's era when he was president around Benue State and the massacre that followed around this area, and it was ethnic driven. It was the Tiv, the Jukun, the Idoma, and various political players around it. So one might also speculate that given the president's speech yesterday around the politics of it, he's insinuating that those political dynamics of that time may not be completely gone, which is why the military can't go in as aggressively as we would like them to see, because we saw what that led to in 2001. That ended up being a massacre. Who are you fighting? But hopefully, yesterday in that engagement, by the time we saw a few hours later, he traveled back to Abuja. I hope in that period some meaningful engagement and valuable information was exchanged that can help the strategy to counter this once and for all.
For the benefit of our viewers who are just tuning in, let me read out what the short clip of what the Tor Chief had said during the meeting. The Tor Chief V, His Royal Majesty James Ayashi, highlighted the severe nature of the ongoing killings in Benue State. He emphatically stated that the violence in Benue is not merely a farmer-herders clash, but a full-scale genocidal invasion and land-grabbing campaign.
What do I have to say? This is NAIJA Watch Media. Join us every day, 7 p.m. Nigerian time. Let's continue to talk about the things that affect you and I. Take care, guys, and bye for now.